I want to break down the 135-pound division because I said earlier 154 and light heavyweight are my two top divisions of boxing right now. 135 is quickly moving up those rankings, and I might even consider them to be 2 or 3 very, very shortly now. So let's break this down right now. As the champions, you currently have Vasily Lomachenko. You have his interim champion who just became Raymond Murataya, who I am very, very high on. Then you also have Tank Davis, Shakur Stevenson, Keyshawn Davis. That is an incredible champion run right there. Obviously, if you say Vasily Lomachenko is not going to be retired and he's going to come back and fight Raymond Murataya, you have a massive blockbuster fight to have happen right there. Lomachenko is an all-time great. He's a future Hall of Famer, so on and so forth. We know who he is. If he adds into more of this mix, it'd be great. I do think he will retire, though, but that means that you're just going to replace him. And I don't want to say replace him because it's massive shoes to fill. But Raymond Murataya is up next. Dominant performance on Saturday. He showed the world how special he can be, and I think he's going to be a problem at 135. Where he should honestly, I think he's ready to go have the immediate, if he becomes a world champion, gets promoted to that, doing a unification fight with Keyshawn Davis right out the gate. I don't know if he's going to win that fight. That's way too early to say that prediction, but he is the real deal. I'm a big fan of Raymond Murataya after seeing the way he performed on Saturday. I think he's going to be legit. Then we talk about Tank Davis, Shakur Stevenson. Two of the top 10 pound for pound, debatably top 10 pound for pound fighters in the world. We know who those guys are. Keyshawn Davis, in my opinion, is probably the biggest rising star in America. Why do I say that? Well, one, he's young. Two, he's already a world champion, one of the youngest to ever do it. And third, the way he fights, his charisma, his character, his personality, all of those things combined make him into a superstar personality. I also believe that he truly wants to fight the best. Don't really care to take a shot right now, but obviously we've seen a guy in Tank Davis who I don't think wants to fight the best. Is what it is. Keyshawn Davis has a lot of the similar traits in terms of personality and charisma and those type of things that Tank Davis has. But I think that Keyshawn Davis has more of that dog in him in the sense that he wants to fight the best. Obviously, yes, he's not going to go fight Shakur Stevenson, the best friends. Outside of that, though, I think he's all fair game. He wants to fight whoever it is. And I also don't think that he's going to remain at 135 forever. But the fact that he is there, I have to mention him. So that's your champions currently. Big, big fans on those guys. Then we go to the top contenders in the weight class. William Zepeda, who I think is a very, very solid fighter. My one thing as William Zepeda is I think he's going to get destroyed by Shakur Stevenson on July 12th. That's my personal opinion there. However, William Zepeda is certainly in the mix there. Isak Cruz is coming back down to 135. Pitbull is back. I think he's going to be an exciting fighter to add back into the mix. Floyd Schofield, another one of the young rising stars. Abdullah Mason, who I think is going to be one of the other futures of American boxing. He is sensational. He's special. I've gone on about him before. I think he's going to be the real deal. And so we have Abdullah Mason also in that mix. Andy Cruz, the guy that everybody wants Keyshawn Davis to have his fight against, who had a long-term, the revenge, losing to him in the amateur ranks. That's a guy to watch, keep an eye on. Now, he is older, but you still have him. Then you also get interesting guys right there, and guys in 130 that are now moving up to 135. Lamont Roach, we know that he's in the mix there. Obviously, he just had the draw against Tank Davis. Is 135 the pound weight class he's going to make his money at? I think so. 130 is very hard to make money at right now because there's not a big name fighter there. Emmanuel Navarrete is the biggest one, but he's not as marketable and does not bring in the money as per se, guys at 135 do, the likes of a Tank Davis, Lomachenko, those type of guys. So 135 is going to be much more lucrative for him, and he's already proven that he can fight that weight class. So I think Lamont Roach is certainly there, and I think he should stay at 135. So you have him in the mix now. And then there's somebody else I want to finish off with. And there's lots of other great guys, but there's one guy I want to finish off with. O'Shaquie Foster. Him and Shakur Stevenson are getting after it on X. A little bit too much in my opinion. It's getting a little bit crazy for the things that they're claiming and talking about each other in the ways that they are doing right now without a fight booked. But that being said, that's a fight I'd like to see. O'Shaquie Foster is a good fighter, but once again, 130 just is not a weight class that has a lot of money and a lot of eyes on it right now. You move it up to 135, you get all the eyes on you. And O'Shaquie Foster is one heck of a fighter. I think Shakur Stevenson has his way with O'Shaquie Foster if they do that fight. But at the same time, I'm not going to rule O'Shaquie Foster out. And you have to think about the way O'Shaquie Foster's thinking in the back of his mind right now. He just saw a guy that nobody thought had a shot at beating or even competing with Tank Davis and Lamont Roach. Move to 135 and get a draw against Tank Davis. And debatably even won that fight. O'Shaquie Foster probably in the back of his mind is saying, you know what? I think I'm actually better than Lamont Roach. And I think I can go take on Shakur Stevenson, though. Don't mind him for that. I actually respect that from him. And so I do think that that's a fight we're going to see. Obviously, Shakur Stevenson has already got his fight booked with Zepeda. And after that, I'm sure he's going to pursue the Tank Davis fight as he's done time and time again. If that fight and when that fight does not come to fruition, I think O'Shaquie Foster's the guy to have happen there. It makes a ton of sense. O'Shaquie Foster's ready to move up to 135. They already have been building that fight now. Make that fight happen. But the point being, O'Shaquie Foster being added into the 135 division would probably push the beams a little bit to the point where I'd say, you know what? I do believe that at 135, they might just be the best, if not the second best weight class in all boxing. Lightweight division is popping off right now.